Look at it, man. It's
What
great.
are the lot fees like down there?
Live today, Morningwood Radio. How we doing, folks?
Pretty good. I'm just trying to find out how much the lot fees are down where Cole's at.
I still think you should move down here, man. There's an apartment available in my complex here, and we can be neighbors.
I'm actually going to rent out my buddy's room starting out around January 10th, and I'm going to move to San Diego for about 2 months.
Where is it?
It's in Chula Vista.
Oh, okay. That's way down there. Now, you want to be in like downtown or like where I am, right on the beach.
It's month to month, and I have to figure out my stuff. But in reality, like, I'm not moving to San Diego for San Diego. I'm moving to San Diego for chunks of water with people in canoes.
Yeah, but if you're in Chula Vista, you're still going to be far away from that one spot that you were at where I met you the other day where you were doing the paddling.
Yes, I am, but also what I have is that lake, which has all the buoys set up for rowers and Olympians to measure out their distances. So it has the buoys there also. So I can train in that lake every single day at the distance. And it's less windy over there, which is another factor.
Are you talking about at the Olympic training facility?
So at the Olympic training facility, you remember that big lake behind where you guys competed?
Yeah.
So that right there is where all the rowers and the kayakers and canoers are training on. They have all these buoys that are set up at 100-meter distance so that you can basically train for the sport.
Oh, that's perfect.
They have that where I'm also doing the training down in San Diego, but like over by where your house is. But I'll admit, having that just as like a private little spot, not bad.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome, man.
Let me introduce you guys. I'm so bad at this. We immediately just start talking, and have you met Ryan? Like, you had to have met Ryan when you went to Battle Bunker.
We met in the dining hall.
Yep.
Do you guys know that I was so busy that weekend that I've never even been in that dining hall?
Really? It's really
Dude,
good.
The food was amazing. Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Yeah, man, the best part of Battle Bunker was actually the dining hall. That's where we all had fun and ate food." And I was like, I was literally pissing out kidney stones from stress, and I ate nothing. You guys are all like, "Oh, hi, Maddie. I'm just going to go to the Triple R now. Now I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to hang out with all my friends."
Yeah, your job for that whole event looks so much worse than what we had. We were just like enjoying it. It was like, dude, it was fun. We're in like those the rooms with like the 4 like rooms in it. So you like 4 kind of like roommates. We're all just like hanging out and stuff. And I think you were like filling sandbags while we were just all hanging out.
Everything.
Yeah.
It was a lot. We are actually designing the next season for Battle Bunker, and Austin's like, "Let's do this." And I was like, wait a second, dude. Like, do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember? And I'm so grateful. Like, nothing created nothing created more damage psychologically to me than OCR stars. So Battle Bunker is like 1,000 tiers underneath that from the level of intensity. Like, if being right up against the sun on a daily basis was OCR stars, this is kind of like being near the equator. Like, kind of, it's direct sun, it's hot, but it's not nearly as bad. And the fact that you guys got to have that level of competition and have like the room set up and that beautiful campus, for me, that gives me a high. I was pretty pumped about it.
That was sick. Like, no other competition really has had anything like that. So that was awesome.
Nothing makes me happier than just waking up on a daily basis and just telling David Watson to go fuck himself. So this was like a big win for me. It's a huge win for me. And the fact that we could take down like a mega $1 million corporation in the quality of product, boom. So today we wanted to bring on Cole Schwartz. Cole Schwartz has been a friend, a competitor, a roommate. Now I may have picked up another title this weekend, which I won't share privately. But I think it would be entertaining to kind of go through the arc of your current life. And we're going to not really be professional about this. We always like to have fun. I'm actually going to take off my glasses and my wig. I'm just going to have a good time with you. But I did want to share with you guys that this is our new character for Builder, Dog the Booty Hunter. And we filmed yesterday. We had cans of bear mace. We were driving around with pickup trucks, like pulling over, like, "Hey, man, get over here." It is the best character to date. And And I just want to thank everybody. This hair's in my mouth. Anybody who supported Builder up this far, I'm just going to give you guys an update. Everybody who's actually bought one of these jugs, it's gone towards me buying outfits and developing this company and having a good time with it. We are going to have our second product Q1, and we are going to have 2 products extra introduced Q1 in Europe. So I just want to say I'm very grateful, and I'm going to take off this wig now. Actually, you know what, Cole? Now that I got your attention, have you ever actually tried our product?
Yeah, I tried it one. You gave it to me one time, I think.
So you're one of those friends that's ever actually never bought or supported what your friends' dreams are.
Like, I tried it like a couple of times. I don't know. It tasted good.
That's nice. That's decent.
If you come out with a pre-workout, I do like pre-workout. And I think that's what you're coming out with next, right?
Yeah, dude, it's right here.
Okay. How is it different than another? Just quickly, how is it going to be better than like another like pre-workout?
So what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of the pre-workouts in the industry and a lot of products in the industry are designed. What the hell was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it said you were calling me.
Whoa. A lot of products in the industry are designed for bodybuilders. They're designed in the realm of bodybuilders. They're not designed in the sport, in the realm of people that are going to reach like really high heart rates. So I don't know if you've ever made this mistake very early on, doing racing. I took a pre-workout when I was in Mexico via de Bravo, and I took this pre-workout with like hundreds upon hundreds of milligrams of caffeine, and like it was like a Jack 3D type run, and it made my heart almost explode. Like I had to walk during the race at one point. So the things that are designed for you to have tons of vasodilation and a response for bodybuilding is very different from that of what you need to have for doing high intensity workouts for athletes that are doing CrossFit and like things like high rocks and OCR and stuff. So that's the difference. We change the volume of what you're going to put in there. Like a bodybuilding product will have like citrulline malate, and they'll have like 5,000 to 7,000 milligrams of citrulline malate, which is valuable. But if you pump that and stack it with beta alanine and everything at that really high level, it can almost make you feel really, really shitty when you're doing a high intensity workout. So in our product, we are doing 200 milligrams of caffeine, 2,500 milligrams of citrulline, 2,500 milligrams of beta alanine, and 25 grams of carbohydrates. And you put that all into a drink, and you're supposed to take this before. So the carbohydrates are something your body needs and is going to break down during the workout. The citrulline malate and the beta alanine are blood flow things, and caffeine is an energy thing. And for somebody who's a little bit bigger like myself and doing more intense workouts, I'll have 1 to almost even 2 scoops of it.
Okay, so you're gonna have like around like 300 milligrams of caffeine, essentially.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
We don't think like stuff. I wouldn't give that to somebody who weighs 100 pounds. I weigh 205 to 210 pounds, and I'm going to do workouts that last 90 minutes. If you gave that same amount of volume to a girl who weighs like 110 pounds, and like, you know, let's say I decided to give it to Nicole Miracle before she went and did a workout, her head would explode.
Yeah.
So that's what like a big part of what I don't really understand. Like, I don't think a lot of people in the fitness industry understand is most of the nutritional science and products that are coming out there in the industry are supporting people from bodybuilder standpoints. Like all of these things like Bucked Up and all that kind of stuff, they're bodybuilding companies. They're for athletes like Chris Bumsfeld, and like they're all designed by people that are literally doing and then sitting down for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. So, I think there's only one other company out there that's actually creates supplements for endurance athletes that I've heard of, which is like crazy compared to like the thousands that are just for just like weightlifting.
Well, yeah, I think like so our product right here is designed like Scratch. Scratch is a product real quick that's just 15 to 20 grams of carbohydrates and probably about 500 milligrams of electrolytes combined. We are doing BCAAs because we know that there's so much more muscle work being done with our like people who are doing high rocks and hybrid style training, that is your muscles breaking down constantly and you're trying not to get weaker and have more muscle breakdown. like endurance athletes don't give a shit about, that we focus on BCAAs, and we also focus on having taurine, and we also have focusing on having a lot of electrolytes. So we changed our goals and our nutritional goals to change, like to aid people's certain needs. And like most people, when I ask them, I'm like, "Hey, what's in your drink?" They're like, "Oh, I like Scratch, or I like Tailwind." I'm like, "Well, do you know why you like it?" You're like, "Well, I know Jim Walmsley takes it. I know that Courtney DeWalter likes it." And I was like, "Well, do you know the difference of what you do versus they do?" And nobody really puts these things together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's it to me, I geek out on this stuff.
Yeah.
And the harder thing is like the most confusing thing to me, and I'll end on this, is LMNT. Do you know that product?
Yeah. Just the electrolyte little packet things.
Yes. I think that's great. The fact that people think that this is the new super drink that is going to get you to the finish line faster blows my mind,
Yeah.
because it doesn't actually fuel you at all. Like, you can't put 5 element packets. Like, eventually it doesn't have anything to aid the direction of what you're going in. It's just going to stop you from the process of like potentially cramping. And if that's the issue, so be it. But as far as like performance wise, it's not really a metric. But it's, I mean, I heard that they, after all expenses, made $30 million last year.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you guys should invest in salt.
Yeah, I want to try the pre-workout that you make. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. All right. So I went down a rant, and I think I want to kind of just keep on starting to rack around. But Cole Daddy, I'm going to start out as early as where you were born, and I also want to get to know more about Dom.
Okay. I was born in Asheville, North Carolina.
You were?
Yeah.
Why the hell did you guys leave that place? That place is a miracle.
My dad worked for North Face growing up, and then he got fired after like when I was like 2. So we moved to California, and like my mom had like went on like a backpacking trip. Well, not a backpacking trip, but she like biked from, I think, from like Washington all the way down to Mexico, and she stopped in this like tiny little town on the coast, Mendocino, and she's like, "Oh, I want to live there." So we moved to this like tiny town. It's 3 hours north of San Francisco, and I lived there until I guess like I was in like 4th grade, and then we moved down to the Bay Area, so like just outside San Francisco area.
Are your parents up in the northern point now?
Well, they moved down, and then they recently moved back. Like just before COVID, they moved back. So now, yeah, they live up there. Just kind of like
Is that where you do? Is that where you do all your OCR training up there?
I did for the last like 2 weeks leading up to the Battle Bunker race that I just did. Because we have like, I just got my dad an assault bike there, and then we have like a rope climb, like a rig. So it's like a really good spot for like setting up like high intensity, like little like obstacle course race things.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely lived through my dad's home gym and my brother's home gym. So like I will manipulate them into buying things that I think is necessary for me.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, that's sick. Like, you like this rower?" I'm like, "Yeah, this rower is gonna be great for you."
Well, my dad just got knee surgery, so he like can't do much. And then I was at my gym in San Diego, and they got new assault bikes. So I went and asked, and I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing with these old ones?" Because they were still like pretty nice. And they're like, "We'll sell you one for $100." And I'm like, "Deal."
That's
So
a big deal.
yeah, and it's like it's tiny bit rusted, but it still works great. So I put it in the car, and then for Thanksgiving, I brought it up to my parents, drove it up to my parents' house, and now he's got like a nice bike, and he's like super pumped about it.
Dude, I'm telling you guys right now, we just pulled a ton of stuff out of our gym here. I was trying to find a building to rent in Crestline. None of them are that great of deals. And then I talked to the storage facility company, and they're letting me rent out one of their larger rooms and just turn it into a gym. They don't give a shit.
Is there electricity?
I mean, we can get electricity to it if we want to really run a cord, but I don't need it. I have one of those treadmills I have a curve runner treadmill. Yeah. I have a squat rack. I have a skier, a rower, and I have all the weights you could ever want.
Okay, but what about like a light?
No, dude, you just open the door. It's not like a dark ass room. It's on the outside. So like, if you look over here, do you see that door right there? Yeah. Like all the natural lights coming through?
Okay. So it has so you're not going to use it like, I don't know, you wake up so early and you like to work out like super early in the morning. So it's for like use during the day.
It's like normal people hours, Jim.
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, I know. You wake up at like 4 a.m. So I'm just thinking like you have to wait a few hours before you can get in there.
You know, I've actually changed my life a little bit since you and I lived together.
Yeah.
Now that I have a business to run, like I have all this super hardcore mental focus first thing in the morning. I wake up and I get as much work done as possible. You can ask Ryan. Like Ryan will start to get emails from me at like 4 a.m. I actually texted you last night, Ryan, at like 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I start working around 4 a.m. and I work for about 2 to 3 hours and I can get everything done. And so then all of a sudden when the gym opens up at 8, I'm good to go.
Yeah, it was an email, but there wasn't any content. It was just a subject line. But anyway,
Nice.
we'll go through that later.
Is that
Nice.
how Hunter sends these emails? Does he start writing the subject and then sends it? I could totally see that.
It's quicker.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did an attachment. You guys want to know something weird? Totally off topic. I did not sleep well last night, and then I had nightmares. I kept on waking up and looking at this door and thinking someone was coming in. And you know when you have like that sleep paralysis, like when you're like trying to get out of bed, out of your dream, and you're like looking at it. And I kept on staring at the door, and the door is like a darker door against a white paint. Like you can see the doors back here. It started to kind of turn into a figure of a body, and I was rip shit pissed. Like I could not go to sleep. But next to my bed, I got this axe right here, so he was fucked. If yeah, I don't know. So sorry, we went in a totally different topic, but that's just what we do here. So you were born and raised in Northern California, and I mean, when was your first obstacle course race? Because it had to have been pretty young.
Yeah. So I ran cross country and track throughout high school, and then I just gotten off my senior year of track, and I ran like a 4:30 mile, and then I saw there was
not
like
bad.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good enough to like get on a team. Like you needed to be in like the low 420s to right under 420 to like get on like a college team. But then I saw that there was like I kept getting those ads, for the Spartan race. So I did the one at the Giants ballpark, like the stadium race. And I finished sixth place at like 9,000 people. And I don't know, I was like, that was pretty cool. And then basically just kept thinking about it and then went and did the Montana race, which was like 9 months later, finished like in 30th place. And then came back the next year and finished fourth behind like Ian Hosick, Matt Kempson, I think Austin.
Those were like the rugged OGs of obstacle course racing.
Yeah, and that was in that Montana course too, was like the most rugged thing ever. We were running and we were just like looking for like little bits of tape through like the forest, and that's how you knew you were on the path. Like there was no that was the course marking, which is like these tiny bits of tape every like 20 to 50 feet.
How old were you at the time?
I guess I was 19. I guess my first one I was 18, and then like when I really started running like more races and stuff, I was like 19, 20.
When you got into it, I'm talking about like 18-year-old Cole.
Yeah.
Were you looking at the professional side of things? Were you like already looking up and being like, oh, that's Hunter McIntyre and that's Hobie Call? Like, were you doing that, or was it so flimsy you didn't even know those people existed?
I didn't know you existed until probably like my like fourth or fifth race. So probably like that would have been like late 2015, maybe early 2016, somewhere around that time. Like I didn't realize there was any like professionals. I just saw I didn't realize there was like an elite series. Like I went to Montana and I saw like a bunch of people like running fast and stuff, and I didn't know that like they were part of like a series.
Yeah, it was ghetto as fuck.
And there was TV cameras. Like it was one of the NBC races that and yeah, I just didn't really know what was happening. I was like, all right, I guess there's like people like getting filmed. And I think and then like I think it was like Matt Novakovic was on my flight and he sat next to us. And we talked to him, and then him and like Christmas Abbott were like on our flight. So I was like, okay, I guess there's something going on here.
Those are two of the older, crazier, and pervy people that ever have entered the sport. Like if there's two people you're like hey, like your children are interested in the sport, you'd be like, don't talk to those two people. No, I'm just kidding. Christmas is great. Matt's a fucking weirdo. Yeah, I mean, I have it right here in my notes. I said you were a bright star around 2016. That's when I first started to hear about you. And Matt and I had already, I think, been roommates. We had been roommates when I first found out about you, and that was probably that what was it? The Montana event that you guys competed against each other. Did you beat him or no?
No, I never beat. No, I didn't meet Matt there.
It's really interesting. So you started to take off, and we were all starting to take off, and then around the same time, we all exited.
Yeah.
We all exited, and at what point for you did you realize that you were not really going to focus on this? Because I think it all hit us at the same time.
I think, okay, so like 2017, I did like 25 obstacle course races. I was basically just trying to do as much as I can. I think I was on like 17 or 18 podiums. Like I was just like doing as much as I possibly could. And then I think it was 2018 is
You were going broke.
Yeah.
While going on podiums.
Yeah. Well, we doing all like the Battle Frog. I don't know. I think I finished pretty high in their series. Won a couple $1,000 there, so kept it going there. And then TMX came out in like 2017. So then
did you do 1.0?
No, I didn't do the first one. But then I like heard about it, so I went to train for it. And then we did the Sacramento race. And then from there, it was just a focus just on TMX.
Yeah. So you now leave college. Now, when does this? This is always an interesting conversation for me because I had to do this. When did you have to tell your parents that you were going to pursue this at a high level, and what were their words?
Well, and then right after college, then I went and moved in with Matt and Ryan over in Cape Cod for the summer. And
dude, that was so much fun. We have to tell some of these stories.
Yeah, you should. I wish you were there for more of it. So I moved over there, and my parents were supportive of it. Like, yeah, no, they were cool with it.
So we had just finished. It had to have been the. Well, no. You were living in Cape Cod leading up to the 2018 TMX Championships, correct?
No. I was no, it was just after the championship.
You moved there after TMX 2018.
Yeah. Because the TMX was like 2 weeks before I graduated college, and then I left like the week after I graduated college and moved in with Matt and Ryan.
How did you finish at TMX?
Horrible.
Let's hear some details. Come on.
I didn't make it through so there was like there was
open,
semifinals, and then finals on the day of the championship. So basically there would be 3 heats to get to the finals, and I didn't make it through the first one.
You didn't?
It was I honestly think like my body just did not function, and I think I had like heat stroke or something. Like I've never felt that terrible. I got to the sandbag because it was basically you get to near the finish was sandbag, and you did 5 cleans, 5 shoulder overhead, and then I think you like picked up a sandbag and threw it over like a wall like 5 times or something, and I just couldn't even move the thing. And like I'd been practicing, everything was going good, and when I finished this race, I couldn't even stand up. Like I felt like I was like peeing all over myself. Like it was terrible.
It was a brutally hard race. Do you want to tell people what happened that night at the after party?
I think it's good.
I want to know.
Let's hear it. Cole, do you want me to tell, or do you want yourself to tell?
Is this where the Cold Daddy nickname came through?
I think so.
I didn't mean to write Cold Daddy.
But. What? Cold Daddy? I don't even know how I came up with Cold Daddy, but Cold Daddy is a sick name. I got him to change his Instagram handle to Cold Daddy for like a day, and he got 1,000 followers. I was like, if you guys follow him, he'll keep his name as Cold Daddy. And then he broke his bond with us. He broke his promise and his trust in this bond. And you broke that.
It's more like 5 followers, but
whatever. So we go to the after party, and we finished this all-day competition in the hot sun. Everybody's hands are bleeding, like skin's peeling off. the humidity, it was so intense, and like, you know, we were training and competing at such an intense level, like everybody was chronically dehydrated. So we immediately got to this after party house, and we started drinking like crazy, like off the charts hard. So the match of like matching dehydration with a ton of chronic alcohol use just makes you
It's
even
always
more
a good mix.
drunk. So we're at the house, and it's just like it's 90% guys and 2 girls. And it like, you know, obviously when there's no girls around, like the attention switches from like, hey, what babe am I gonna get, to like, how much can I fuck up my friend? Like, we're just gonna get rowdy. At one point we were waterboarding people. Like, it was just crazy. And it was one of my favorite nights to date. But we're outside, and we're all taking a piss outside. There's like 3 of us peeing outside. I jump up on a picnic table, and I'm peeing off the picnic table for some reason. And Cole decides to turn and starts pissing on my feet. Now, Cole is obviously below me. So, like, understand like the difference in height here. So I'm just look at Cole, and I just turn my stream onto him, and Cole, I just start pissing all over Cole. And now Cole does not recognize what's going on. It takes him about like several seconds. And then he snaps into it, and he's like, ah! And just bolts off into the darkness. And it was one of these kind of things, like, you know, like the battle stories, like don't ever charge like an uphill, like the uphill has the advantage. And like, and if you're going uphill, there's no way you're going to beat the uphill strength bunker. That was me. I was the uphill strength bunker, and he decided to charge me unprepared, and he got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, it was a poor strategy.
Poor strategy. There was a lot of poor decisions that happened that night. Yeah. So now you've lost TMX, and you've got pee all over yourself. What was we went to Cape Cod, and what's am I saying? Matt's brother is such a jerk. He would not let us stay in the house when we visited.
Yep.
With stories like that, I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
We were a rambunctious group, but we were not a bad group. We're not the kind of people that would like trash a house, put holes in the wall, any of that kind of stuff. Matt's brother is just a tough cookie. So we were banished to the woods. We lived in the woods for a week now. Now, there's a couple stories that are my favorite part of this living in the woods. Part 1 is we found that Cole had you know, those like Dr. Pimple Popper videos?
Oh, yeah.
Cole had like a lump on his back that was probably about the size of a quarter. And we're in the woods, and I don't even know if we were drinking at this point. I think we just decided that Matt and I decided that this had to go. And we had like a dirty box cutter. And we burnt the tip of it for a while, which I don't think is enough to really prevent staph infection or whatever else could have been picked up out there. We literally just cut your back open. And I've never seen more bodily fluid come out of somebody. It was like a gunshot wound.
Yeah, I think I was traumatized from this.
Yeah, was it blood or was it actual pus and gush that you see on the Dr. Pimple Popper videos?
It was like a tapioca pudding.
Okay.
Was there blood? I can't remember because I couldn't see it.
Not much.
Okay.
It was just this custard coming out of your back. And you wonder, like, you're like, oh man, I wonder what's going to be like. I've seen these videos on the internet. And now for some reason you were crazy enough to let us crazies do surgery on you with a box cutter.
And it needed to go, apparently.
It was foul. And so now there's this next gap.
Wait, one more time when we were there, that same trip, I almost thought you were going to die because we swam across this lake, and there was this rope swing. And like, this is one actually probably the first times we'd hung out for like an extended period of time. And I was just like, and you're like, oh, you wanted us to boost you up this tree because the first limb was probably like 12 to 15 feet up. So you have to be on our shoulders to get to it. And then you start climbing this tree, you get up, and you're on like the tiniest branches, and you got up to like probably like 40 feet, and then it was on a hillside. So if you fell, you would have not just the tree, but you would have fallen down and hit the ground. And like I was I was so sure it was gonna break and you were just gonna die right in front of us. And I was like, this guy is insane. And I don't know if you like just are like really confident at like climbing trees or something, but I just remember like that. And I was just like this guy's such an idiot. Like, why is he climbing this tree? Like, this is not worth it for what is happening right now.
Well, we had to build a rope swing, which was clutch,
Mhm.
which is always more important than your life.
It was
And
fun.
if hopefully one of these days I can get some of like my old like elementary school friends on here, like my mom,
Mhm.
and you'll get to know something about me. As I spent probably between the age of 5 and the age of 20 more time climbing trees than almost anybody else in the world. Like
Mhm.
I spent all my time climbing trees, all the way up until I was 18 years old. We went to the baseball high school baseball fields, and we cut all the nets out of the cages, and we took
Mhm.
them into trees, and we'd pound them into trees, and we'd build like cargo net cities up in the trees. And we didn't have like, these are the trees that didn't have branches on them, so you had to like bear hug your way up, and you'd climb up, and we'd build like forts and everything. I was a really good tree climber. Now I'm too fat. I probably need to lose some weight to be as good as I used to be. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. That's how I grew up. That's why I got this cabin in the woods, because I don't want to lose that Peter Pan mindset. Like, we were actually, when we first bought this house, we were going to build uh, a tree fort up in the trees called the Crow's Nest. No girls
Mhm.
allowed, obviously.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
basic stuff, basic stuff. Yeah, I mean, that was fantastic. And that rope swing that we built was insane.
Yeah, I know. I went off it and it was terrifying. Like
You
it
were the
barely
first person to do it.
yeah, it barely cleared the water, almost landed straight in the dirt. It was terrible, but it was actually
Dude,
pretty fun.
you ever see like Ryan, you ever see those people that are like doing the squirrel suits, and they do what's called proximity flying, and they like come like this close and get out?
Mhm.
That's exactly what this swing was like. It came down and out so close to the ground, to the point where like if his foot touches, it will shatter his bone because he's
Mhm.
going so fast. And then it just picks up and launches you like an extra 20, 30 feet in the air because of like the severity of the curve. Mm. So I climbed the tree so that Cole could do the swing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So now this is where everything falls apart. Now, this has happened to us multiple times, and since you were doing the same sport as me, it makes sense to you. TMX collapses. Tough
Yeah.
Mudder also collapses shortly there afterwards. Um, what was it like now all of a sudden not having direction? And like shortly there afterwards, I think we moved into a house in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about the same time. Like literally when Tough Mudder X got canceled was like when we moved into the house. So and the plan was just to train for that. So that kind of sucked. So then we just kind of me and Matt just pivoted and started running just like Spartan stadium races, which I like wasn't that into, but it was like the only thing around at the time. And then we couldn't really train with you because you were training for CrossFit. So you were basically just on the floor, usually just kind of like grunting and trying to stretch, but you're not very good at stretching. You just kind of like lie there and grunt all the time. Uh, so
Yep.
yeah, we just kind of focused on that, and it was that whole season, which is kind of like it was kind of boring until High Rocks came around, and that was the end of 2019.
Were we roommates at that point?
I just before that, yeah, like it was just before that, like probably a couple months before High Rocks is when we stopped being roommates.
And this is when Cold Daddy formed. So this is when your alter ego came about, and we were
So
living
you
in
were
this.
in the you guys were all roommates at the Boulder House, yeah?
Yep.
Dude, we
All
had
right.
a blast. Like, everyone kind of had a girlfriend. You had just found a girlfriend. You fell in love pretty quick, by the way. That girl swooped you up. You just disappeared.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Matt and I still were living the Peter Pan lifestyle, where like there was girls, like there was Wendy that would come and visit us, but we didn't want Wendy to,
Mhm.
basically break down our system here. So let's just say those two girls that we were dating, we are no longer dating. Um, That had to have been one of the wilder times of just like those dares. Like every single day we were daring ourselves to do something. Cole Daddy lost so many bets. I also like I wanted to offer Cole a job. He wouldn't take it. I was offering Cole because he was working at like a boxing company. Weren't you boxing up you were boxing up rock climbing holds and mailing them out
Yes,
every single day. And what were you making, like $12 an hour or something ridiculous?
probably.
Yeah. I wanted to pay Cole the same amount of money out every single day to stay home with me, but every single time I asked Cole to do something, he had to do it because I'm his boss.
Okay.
And Cole would have been my first ever employee, but he turned it down. And I still think you made a mistake to this day.
I don't think I made a mistake.
What are you talking about? I mean, you'd probably be more Instagram famous than me. I think about it. All the crazy stuff that we were doing when we were living, Matt and I were living in Durango, then we got this house. If we had been filming ourselves YouTube style, like all these guys did, like the Paul brothers and everything like that, I guarantee we'd have millions of followers because the
Yeah, there was a
weird shit
time.
that we did every single day.
Yeah, you had. I think at one point Matt was like in the tree naked, and you were like shooting him with the pellet gun for like I think you had like 30 seconds because I can't remember what he lost. But he lost something, so he did
He
go
lost
for
a bet.
it.
He lost a bet, and the loser of the bet had to climb a tree and eat a piece of a pumpkin naked.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
that's what it was.
this was
High risk, high reward bets going
yeah.
on, huh?
This is in a neighborhood with children. There was there was tons of stuff, but if you lost a bet, you had to pay up. So climbing up the tree in the backyard where the whole neighborhood could see you naked and then having to eat a piece of a smashed pumpkin that we had in our front yard was a solid punishment.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'm so disappointed because there were some people in my ear telling me, like, Hunter, you have to become more professional. Like, you need to have more of this, like, clean cut James Bond thing. Like, you got to stop being so ridiculous all the time. No way Nike's going to sponsor you or like these other people. Stop putting like ridiculous content out there. Now I've come back full circle and I don't really give a shit what anybody thinks. And I'm just posting the most ridiculous stuff that I can. And it's been some more of the more successful adventures that we've had. So we effed up. Like, I'll put it to you this way. Logan Paul is selling like hundreds of millions of Prime bottles around the world. And they used to like stick dildos on each other's foreheads.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still think you should make videos like Nick Simmons and like Austin too. I feel like those kind of videos and stuff you do like great at.
Well, we're thinking about starting like, like the Woodsman Series where we're going to bring people out to Crestline and we'll have like $1,000 prize for the day.
Yeah.
Across a couple of events. So you could win like $200 at each event, but they're going to be like ridiculously hard, like wood style events. And you can compete against me or you're competing against other people in the group. But
like what kind of events? Like you got to chop this piece of wood and you
axe throwing, stump climbing, start a fire, like all of these things. Like I have these books that I like, it's ridiculous. I have this book called The Handy Book for Boys. It sounds very provocative. And it's just ridiculous. But like I got this thing when I was a kid, and now you look through and you're like, damn, these are all really cool things you could either challenge yourself to do or other people to do. Like how to make a fire really quickly, how to make a bow and arrow real quick and shoot a target, like all of these kind of things, and basically put people against these tests.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally I love Austin's content. I like Nick Simmons' content, but you don't need another person like me doing that kind of stuff. Like I want to do the hunter style thing. And I love being in the woods and doing weird shit.
Yeah, I think you can put your kind of like style to it, but I don't know. I feel like you need like a general concept just so people like initially click on the video.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did. This a while ago. We came up with this challenge called the One Chop, One Kill with wood chopping. And that honestly is like, it seems ridiculous, but that's some of the more successful shit that we've done. Just posting people chopping wood.
Yeah.
And people suck at chopping wood.
Oh, dude, I did the first time I tried to chop a piece of wood at your house. I completely missed the wood, I think, or I hit like the side and it almost came back and hit me. It was terrifying.
Dude, we had a girl cry one time because we were like, come on, do it. And she was like, I don't want to. And we're like, come on, do it. And then afterwards, she was like very upset. I didn't feel comfortable.
Cole, weren't
like,
you, Yeah, didn't you lose the bet? So you Hunter had to bang on the stump, got all the red ants in there, and you had to put your hand on the stump for X amount of time and have the red ants hit you?
Yeah, I didn't actually lose the bet though.
You did lose the bet.
I don't. So the bet of this one was. So this wasn't really like a bet. It was whoever could do the most weight of a hang power clean, and I think we tied at 260.
We tied, but then you had to have lost something.
Oh, I think we just did rock paper scissors. We must have. I can't remember, but I think we just did rock paper scissors because we tied.
That's Cole's hand.
Oh.
Look closely. Those are fire ants.
Yeah, it was so painful.
Dude, I don't know what the hell is going on, but this mountain, specifically where I live, has fire ants that live under this stump. And I've lived in this home for 2 years, and they still live in this stump. And that's Cole. Well, dude, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is the stuff that we did for like the longest time. We did for like the longest time living together. We would do all these bets, and I'm just like, if we had filmed that stuff, like you don't have to film everything that you do, but if you are a content producer like we are these days, man, it would have been a game changer.
Dude, you need to repost that video. I wasn't there, but it's you. You go up to Matt when he's in this pool with this bug in your hand, and you rock paper scissors. Loser has to eat the bug, and it is the grossest looking bug I've ever seen. I don't know where this video is, but I saw it like years and years ago.
Yeah, you posted that as a flashback. It said, "Hey, 10 years ago today." But I don't think we ever got part 2. We saw part 1 of you in an Olympic swimming pool, and you're like, all right, you got to make it outside.
Yeah.
The outside video happened, but I never saw him eat it.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, because part 2, he was outside and he was gnawing into this thing, and he couldn't eat it all in like one go. So he was like, he was taking like chunks out of it.
So we have about a half dozen iPhones. Like I just showed you another one. I have 3 over here. We have a half dozen iPhones of content that is just like there as a gold mine. I'm going to have our media team go through it and pull all this stuff off, and it might be on there. But if you want to see that specific video, you got to go to Facebook. And the reason why I've never posted section 2 is because it got so much worse after that, meaning like it wasn't entertaining. Matt just kept on panicking at a higher and higher level and did not want to eat these bugs. And I was like, man, this is just sad now because I'm forcing him to do it. I'm like, you've lost this bet, Matt. You're going to eat this bug. And at one point he was so anxious. He climbed on top of like a weird like fence and was like crouched down like a golem. It got real weird. Matt deserves to have better images of him on the internet than that. Oh, man. So I guess the thing is like, now you're in High Rocks. Now you're in a bunch of different things. Before we get out of this chapter, though, you just recently got engaged, and like, as Cole Daddy, the Cole Daddy I know is one of the most adventurous guy. Like, you're the dude who just like pick up and go to Asia. You just up and go to Europe. You just up and go everywhere. Like, you had this very kind of transient, fun lifestyle. Didn't seem like anything was tying you to the ground. Not like you were being irresponsible, but you were one of the more well-traveled people that I know of. And now you're engaged. And now you've moved to San Diego. And now you've got like a big boy job. And I say this to people often, like Cole was one of the people that was living with us in this Peter Pan life where it was just a bunch of boys in a house on air mattresses, no responsibility, bets where you're eating bugs. And what's that like transitioning into kind of like that next level of being a boy to a man?
I don't know. It's like, I think it's just like a natural progression, but I don't know. It's still cool that you still have like your cabin. We can still kind of go back to those days, even if we're not going to like live together like permanently anymore.
Which breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I think I'm the last man standing. I bet you Kempson will probably lock it down within the next 6 months.
Probably.
Yeah. And not that I wouldn't, but I just don't see that transition happening. Was there a light switch that went off? You're like, oh yeah. How long did it take you to know that you were going to propose to Abby?
Like into the relationship, probably like a little over 2 years. So it wasn't like an immediate thing.
What was the day? Was it like were you sitting there talking to somebody, or were you just like, I should probably get engaged to this girl if I keep on doing this?
It's more like that. It's like at a certain point, you're like, it makes no sense to continue it in the relationship if you don't like see like a future with it. And it was probably like we had just gone to we just went for like a 5-day trip to like Oahu and just had like a great time and everything. And I was like, yeah, we could keep doing this forever.
I gotta lock this down.
Yeah.
How old are you?
20, almost 27, so 26.
Wow. I thought I was going to get married by 25
Yeah.
when I was younger. I was like,
Dude,
why not get this done early?
I thought I was gonna have kids by the time I was 26.
Yeah.
Like that's how, like when I was like probably 20, I'm like, oh yeah,
How
well,
old-
I'm like 26, I'll probably have kids. Is what I thought.
How old was Dom when he had you?
And when he had me, my dad had me when I was 27, but he had my sister when he was, I think, 25.
That's
So
nuts.
yeah, my whole family is like pretty young, and then my grandma had my dad when she was 18. So my grandma's only like 73. So yeah, we have like a pretty young like family. And my sister, who's 27, she already has 2 kids. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your dad, by the way. He's my
Yeah.
favorite. He's my favorite dad in the business. Cole, if Cole was like half as cool as Dom, he'd probably have his own podcast too. His dad would come by and hang out with us and just kick back, shoot the shit, tell stories. He was the most like involved dad of any dad that I've known in the sport. And he just could sit there and hang out and appreciate that. Like, he didn't seem like there was this level above. Like, you know, when there's just clearly like this hierarchy of like father figure and son, your dad doesn't do that.
Yeah. No, he loved hanging out. He loved coming to the house and stuff in Boulder. That was awesome.
Dude, I tell Dom that I still use the blanket that he gave me all the time.
He gave you a blanket?
Yeah, your dad crashed in my room, and like his gift for like him staying in my room while I was gone was he gave me a blanket. And I was like, okay. And like, it's one of these kind of weird things that it's just traveled with me throughout time. It was only like 3-4 years ago, but it's traveled with me throughout time, and it's on our couch here at the cabin now.
Good. I'm glad he could give you a safety blanket.
It is. It's like one of those small ones that's like a Baba blanket. It's not like a full side blanket. It's just like perfect enough to just like kind of get wrapped up in.
Yeah, you gnaw on it while you're sleeping. Good.
Yeah. Okay, so current day, Cole Daddy. Now you're like Cole Daddy 2000. You've leveled up from the regular basic ass Cole Daddy. You're a grown ass man. You've got your own place down in San Diego. You're engaged. I think at 27, 28 is when I started to see this extremely vertical uptick in my performances. So I don't know where you're planning on going with this, but I figured I'd ask, like, because I did a Q&A with people online to ask questions about Cole Daddy, and a lot of them have to do with your participation in Go Ruck. Everyone's fascinated by this.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? What's next for Cole Daddy? Like, I mean, are you going to really level up and get more competitive, or do you think that you're going to find new ventures, or do you think you're going to be retired?
So, okay. So in the next 3 weeks, so in like the very short term, I am going to set the record for that Battle Bunker obstacle course.
448?
So I just did it this past week and I ran 4:56. So 8 seconds off the record, which
is blazing, by the way.
Dude,
what held you up?
So last time I did it, and I don't know if you can see, I tore the shit out of my like calf on the Tyrolean Traverse.
Idiot.
And this was like 4 weeks ago. So this time I was like, all right, I'm not doing that. I'm putting and I found the fastest way to do it is you put both feet up and you just pull as fast as you can with your arms.
Yep.
And so I wore this like sleeve that's meant for like when you're like doing rope climbs and like CrossFit or something. And I put that on and I started pulling myself and it just got completely caught and started like getting all wrapped around, like getting pushed down. And I had to like take my feet off and then like readjust. And it didn't take long, but I lost 3 to 5 seconds there. And then the rest of the course, the only things that really held me up was I got to the rope climb and my feet slipped on one time when I was trying to do like a J hook, and they slipped a little bit there, and I lost probably 1 to 2 seconds. And then the last obstacle, I just didn't like. I thought I was like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Like I'll be honest, Austin I think might have been telling me my time, but I couldn't really hear him, so I didn't like jump up really quickly on the last obstacle. And then when I was like near like the very end of the obstacle, basically, because you do like these monkey bars and then you basically have to do a muscle up and then you finish. Right before I was about to do the muscle up, he says 4:49, like probably like 2 seconds before I got to that section. So I didn't know I was that close to the record.
That's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
This is like the new Broken Skull Ranch, dude. You got to go get that time.
Dude, it's a brutal course. And then he's gonna send me the footage because I didn't have anyone filming me besides his camera crew, but he said he'd send me the footage because I need to like go through the footage and figure out, hey, like where can I make up time? But based on like in my head, I think I can run in 3 weeks. I think the best time I can get is about a 4:25 on this course. So I think there's 30 seconds there I left on the table.
Competing in Battle Bunker, like you need to make as much time as you can going through that first lane. It is not challenging at all. Then going through the cargo nets, then you need to kind of really control yourself for a second there, doing the sandbag drag. And then getting up on the Tyrolean Traverse, just like it's managing it. And then you can gun it again. Like you're just going up and over a fence, doing a little swing, go, go, go. Monkey bars, gun, gun, gun. Go up over top of the thing, come down the cargo net. Now you have to manage yourself again, going through the Weaver. And then you can start. These next sections right here are not really speedy. It's just like, don't fuck it up. And then you have to gun those last 2 obstacles. Like you have to just have so much guts. And I think that's the thing that I recognize. Like I watch so many people going through it, and I designed this course so that it was a speed, moderate intensity, and then all of a sudden like the hardest obstacles we could possibly put in the last lane. So if you do not gun that first lane, dude, you don't have a chance. And it's not the kind of thing that's so aerobically involved that it's going to kill you. You just have to be efficient. You can't hold up any time whatsoever. And I think it's going to be one of these kind of things that you could be a very, very competitive and instrumental person in like the development of not High Rocks, Battle Bunker, if you get a high score in the beginning. I think having a high score in the beginning is going to be crazy because a lot of people are going to come out and your name's going to keep on getting repeated over and over and over again. And then I think there's going to be this wave of people that come through that are going to start to chop down the times. And I think it's very physically possible for a lot of people, at least a dozen people that I know, to get into that 4:30 range.
Is it all going to finish Battle Bunker in the future? Like when you guys hold these competitions, is the first 2 events going to be of the day outside, and then it will all finish at the Hypercon course?
I don't think Austin's going to get upset with me for saying this. Like that stage that you just developed, it's not exactly what our storyline is going to look like. We are going to go through similar to many sports where we are going to have like, we're going to do a mass participation. Like we're going to do opens, we're going to do regionals, and then we're going to do the championship. We're going to try to start to structure this thing. And we're also going to try to globalize this thing so that people are starting to understand the kind of competition that we're presenting. And the championship is going to look so different from what you guys see on the 1.0 level to like the 10.0 level that me even trying to explain it right now will kind of confuse people in the storyline of what we're trying to produce. But understand that like what you saw last year was, or this year technically, but season 1 was just the seed that we needed to put into the ground. Like we self-funded this thing. When I say we, I want to be totally honest. Austin self-funded it. I funded it with my time and showing up and making sure that like we did this thing. But now we are developing it with sponsors and everything. And the level that we're going to give back to the athletes and the professionalism and the opportunities that we're going to present is going to be so much bigger. But we needed to plant the seed. We needed to do it on like, the equipment that we were buying was from Amazon. The judges we were getting were from just like volunteers from offline. The equipment, the timeline, the cameras, everything like that, even though it was as high quality as we could do, it is going to be infinitely better as we go on. And what you saw, like, and I want you guys to understand, like, that course is going to be around. Like, that is part of our storyline, but it's not the defining feature of what Battle Bunker is.
Yeah, Austin already said, he kind of gave a little preview. He was talking about how now it's like open tryouts, open
Yep.
times to try to make next year's event.
Yeah. Also, like, I want people to understand, like, last year we did, like, anybody who kind of threw their name in the hat had a pretty high level opportunity to get into it. Like, if you guys want to be a participant at Battle Bunker season 2.0, you are going to have to bring yourself into the pipeline early on. Like, make sure that you participate. Make sure that you get involved in it, because you need to get points on the board so you can potentially get into the higher levels of competition. So, like, we are going to announce things pretty soon so that everybody knows what we're doing, and there's no, like, confusion. And also we have enough, like, runway so that people, can get involved. So, Cole Daddy, like, I know that you're planning on doing Go Ruck. Like, if you're in shape for Go Ruck or a High Rocks, you're going to be in shape for what we're doing, which is going to be the all-encompassing, well-rounded athlete. Like, Cole was asking me the other day, he's like, I don't know what to get in shape for. And I was like, if you get in shape for one thing, you're going to be in shape for everything.
You could probably do that with Ultimate Engine.
Yeah. Our training program. Cole, how do you develop your training? I was going to ask you this. I know you had your own training program for a while. Have you ever had coaches? What's been your setup?
So running wise, like, I had, like, just like early on, like in high school, I had some of the best coaches, like around, like, just super smart, like, dudes kind of like you who would, like, read everything and just kind of like knew a bunch. Like, my coach in high school, when he was in high school, he ran an 8:52 mile on a dirt track. Like, dude was like an absolute stud. He went on to be the captain at Stanford and then went on to run pro after that. So to have, like, someone of that level to be your high school coach, you definitely learned a lot. So I had, like, 4 years where I just, like, learned a lot about how you develop, like, a running program when it comes to, an off season, in season, like, how to create, like, workouts, tempo runs, intervals, all that kind of stuff. But right now, I basically, to get ready for any competition, I just kind of look at how many weeks out I am from that competition, and then build out like a plan based on, like, my weaknesses, and then kind of put in, like, deloads in there. And that's
Where do you
basically
pull
how
your inspiration and knowledge from? Like, you had that person. I know you've always been really strong. Like, you can power clean, squat clean in the 300s. Like, you've always been a really, really fit guy. But how do you structure it all together? Like, have you read on other people's things? Is it always kind of just testing and learning as you go?
I guess it's testing and learning. And then, like, Ian Hosick trained me for a while, learned a bunch from him, and then same with Ryan Kempson. And then I worked at an Olympic training facility with, like, or not Olympic training, Olympic lifting gym with this, like, crazy good coach. So I got really good at, like, Olympic lifting. And then I guess I've just tied it all together, just myself. Just I don't know. I think you got to race a good amount so you know what your weaknesses are, and then kind of, like, attack them in that way. And that's what's worked, like, the best for me.
Yeah. So this is something that I always, like, I have this conversation with my clients, and, like, I wonder if you approach it the same way. So something like High Rocks or even like a Go Ruck or Battle Bunker, do you understand the difference between, like, running training? It's kind of like the conversation we had with supplements and hybrid running training, and, like, how the difference of the two of them, like, you can't take the approach that runners take isolated to running. Otherwise, you're going to have the results that isolated running provides.
Mm-hmm. So
Like,
are you saying, just like, if say you were training for High Rocks and you're saying you just did a running program and then you go into the gym and you do, like, some sled work, some squats and stuff, compared to doing some running and then also doing some, like, mixed modality work, like doing some running into sled work and that kind of stuff?
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
taking, like, Jack Daniel's running method 2.0 or something like that, and taking his book and getting a plan out of there, and then all of a sudden be like, okay, this is the plan that I'm going to follow now. And then all of a sudden just adding in what you want in the gym it's not a program for the sports that we do. It doesn't make sense. And And like I have that conversation with my clients all the time. They're like, I want to increase my running pace. I want to increase my running pace. And they want to do that. And then you focus on this, but then all of a sudden it pulls and detracts away from this section of your performances.
Yeah.
So are you one of these kind of people that trains one of them in isolation? You train both of them together? Like what's your game plan for getting better? Because like for you, I would probably say if you can increase your running capacity, you probably have a more competitive time in a lot of these things.
Yeah. And I definitely knew that. So that's why I focus on the running independently. Like when I'm getting ready for High Rocks, I have like this like 3 to 5 mile like tempo run that I do almost every single week so that I can kind of gauge my progress over time on that. And then once a week I do some sort of combination where like I'm on the treadmill, putting it like sub 6 minute mile pace straight into like a skier or into a sled push and then that kind of stuff. But I only do that like once per week. And then the other days are going to be like running will be done independently. So I can really focus on it and that it can I can get better at it. Cause if I just keep doing like compromise work, like running and strength stuff together, it detracts from how good I could be at running, which is what I need to get better at.
Cole Daddy, we're going to sponsor you with a free membership at House Training. We're going to give you the Ultimate Engine.
Okay.
We're going to help you out, Cole Daddy.
All
So
right.
if you had to put it out there, like let's just call your shots because we're at the 60-minute mark and this is where we start to exit. What are you going after this year? What are your results going to be? Who are you going to stuff in the face? Let's get some of that stuff out there because I love trash talk and I love to have, I want to hear what it's all about so we can hold you accountable.
So in 3 weeks, January 8th is going to be Battle Bunker. So goal there is set the record, but ultimate goal would be sub 440 down to the 430, low 430. If I break 430, that would be like awesome. So
okay, so Battle Bunker, we're putting this down. Battle Bunker win.
Battle Bunker. Then after that, then just focus to Go Ruck Games. And starting in February, I'm gonna start training. There's a gym over here. Do you know who Jocko is?
Yeah.
Jocko Wilnick?
Yeah, he owns a gym, a jiu-jitsu gym over here, and I looked it up, and he's got all the best trainers. So then I'm gonna do a couple days a week going there and just doing no gi jiu-jitsu to get ready for Go Ruck because they did say that there's going to be grappling at the end. And my goal is
season 2.
Yep. Yeah. And my goal, my focus is I'm going to be in the final 2 and my goal is to win. So that's why.
Go Ruck Games win.
Yeah. I'm training to win Go Ruck Games.
So let's just say you and I get into the finals. Do you think you're going to beat me in a wrestling match?
Well, I don't know. Are you going to be practicing?
Dude, I pick up stumps that are twice the size of you and chuck them like pieces of cotton candy.
It's good.
If you and I end up in the finals, I will literally lose a couple points just so that I can get the perfect grip on you and then literally get you up overhead and then drop you down on the mat.
You can't lift me up.
Dude, are you kidding me, dude? Look at these bear paws right here. I will literally grab you. I'm going to oil check you. I'm going to chuck a finger in the beehole, get that extra grip, and then lift you up, dude. It will be the hook grip.
I'm going to grease myself up beforehand. You're not going to be able to get your hands around.
That's true, dude. If you put some Crisco in between that crack, there's no way I'm going to get the grip that I want. Okay, so Go Ruck win. Okay, that only brings you up to April. What else do you got?
And then from there, if I win Go Ruck, I will be in crazy good fitness, and I can take a week or 2 off, and then get ready for the Battle Bunker series that's coming out. Which once there's more information about it, then I'll kind of know what I need to train for that. But for right now, we did Go Ruck Games last year, so we know kind of what they do in that event, and it's just you just got to build up a crazy amount of volume and then kind of refine with some pretty good strength numbers, and then get pretty good at that 5 to 8 minute time domain.
Let's put some strength stats out here. What do you want to get in strength? Give me some good strength numbers because I'm going to hold you accountable on this. I got it on my notepad.
So I think for that,
come on, do you want a 350-pound bench, a 300-pound clean again? Give me some things you're going to try to hit this season.
Yeah, I would like to get up to a 300-pound bench. And then maintain a 300-pound clean and get up to a 280-pound power clean. And then my worst movement is strict shoulder press. I've only got it up to 155, so 175.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I shoulder pressed 215.
Do you really? I don't know, because in the CrossFit games they were doing like 205, 215, like 215.
Dude, that's the thing that I thought. Like, I can deadlift more than most of these guys. I can strict press more than most of these guys. Like, I have a lot of like really good grunt strength, but it's like it's all like the now split jerk it and stuff. Like, I never was great at that.
Yeah, the technique. Yeah, so that's where, like, I don't know, for me, it's just I've always been terrible. And a lot of it is I broke my arm, so my arm just doesn't lock out very well. And so it just takes a lot more force to get it to lock out. So anything overhead just sucks. But last year we had that like event where we held that sandbag over our head, and you messed up on it, but I got out before you. It was
I have a bad shoulder.
Yeah. So I'd like to, like, those numbers would probably be like the biggest ones that I think would help the most. And then basically doing like a crap ton of farmer carries.
Because you want to be a farmer.
Yes. It's pretty lucrative. So that's exactly.
I'll be honest.
How did you fare with holding the Go Ruck? I think they call it like a sandbag, but it's basically a farmer carry, and then you chuck it behind your head.
Oh, the bag toss.
Yeah.
So they didn't give us any numbers. I thought I was probably like middle to high of the pack based on my throw, and then I watched everyone else's throws. Like, it was decent, but they didn't tell us who won. Like, we don't even know if Hunter won that event. Like, I don't know. I think Mac might have won it.
You did win the pull-up contest.
Yeah, I did win the pull-ups, and I ripped up my hands really bad, and that sucked.
You beat me by 2, you piece of shit.
So is it better for those Go Ruck games to like get first place in each one, or is it more of a you just have to place so you don't totally cash out all your energy, like just place within the top 5? That way you have grip strength, you have just overall endurance, and you're not burning yourself out by getting first place in one event and just sucking in the rest of them.
A lot of the events didn't take like that much energy. Like, you can go all out and try to get first place, and you would have been fine for the next one. So everything but the first event, which was that 12-mile ruck.
Oh my god!
I should have just walked it and then had energy for the rest of the weekend. But we didn't know that. We didn't know how everything was weighted.
Yeah, I believe in dominance.
Yeah,
put fear in the eyes of your competitor.
Yeah, dude, and like everyone saw it after the first year, and people were excited. So I think a lot of people are going to try to come back, and more people are going to come to the second version of this thing. Which you told me you're not coming, but now that as I'm talking, you're getting all excited. So it sounds like you are coming.
What are you talking about? I'm retired.
Yeah, you keep saying that, and you told me that you weren't going to come. So. But it sounds like you are going to compete this year then.
Well, dude, I'm out of High Rocks. I didn't compete in LA, so that takes me out of High Rocks for the year.
Yeah, well, but this is like different, and I don't know. This is pretty good. It's $15,000 for the win, and they said if you compete in their gear the whole time, you win an extra 50%. So if you compete in Go Ruck shoes and gear, you could win $22K, which is the biggest payday of any event in OCR.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that.
I'm not gonna say it's like massive, but it's like it's pretty decent, especially for like one weekend.
You know what sucks? So Austin and I were trying to watch the footage. I showed up to Spartan Games 2.0, and everyone's wearing their Spartan gear that they gave them. I would be in pink shorts and a coonskin hat the entire time. Like, I specifically wore the weirdest outfits I could to totally tank their footage.
Yeah.
And they didn't show me almost at all.
Oh,
I mean, they called my bluff.
Yeah.
Like, I went in there to fucking sabotage them. They're like, all right, cool. We're just not going to show Hunter on camera. And I was like, damn it. Damn it. It would have been so good just seeing everyone's in these like perfect sequence black puff jackets and black pants and Spartan hats. And then there's Hunter in a bomber jacket with Ugg boots on and pink Puma shorts and a coonskin hat.
So what you're saying is you're not going for the extra 50%, the extra $7,000. If you win Go Ruck Games, you're not going to try to get that extra $7,000.
if I go to the Go Ruck games, I'm going to wear, you know, like like those like khaki shorts I like to wear. I'm not going to wear any
Khaki
underwear
shorts.
so that the beef is dangling.
Yep.
And I'm going to wear the weirdest shit. I'll compete against you guys in a coonskin hat, and I will take blood.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. And on that note, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about this show. I appreciate you coming on short notice.
Yeah, you Hunter texted me. I woke up at 7 o'clock, and Hunter had texted me like 7 minutes earlier and asked if I wanted to be on this. I'm like, sure. So we're on at 7:30. So the way to do it.
Listen, boy, that's how we do it here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, anybody who's listened to this, I just want to say thank you guys for staying tuned in for this long. It's been amazing. Cole Daddy, you've been a fascinating guest. If you guys are interested in what we're doing, we have a lot going on at House Training. We are launching the Ultimate Engine program starting January 2nd. That is the program that I designed for athletes and myself specifically to peak for events like Go Ruck, for peak for events like High Rocks World Championships. It is this program that allows you to do it all. I feel like if you get in absolutely awesome shape, you can point in any direction and kick anybody's ass. So if you're into a program like this, it's going to be an awesome opportunity. We'd love to have you on board. We're certainly going to make sure that Cole Daddy has one because we want to make sure that he hits all of these goals because you have some high marks up there, Cole. And if you guys are interested in what we're doing on the nutritional side of things, guys, we'd love if you joined our company for Boulder Sports, and we are making sure to put out the best products on the market for athletes that are doing events like this. So thank you guys so much for supporting. Thanks for tuning into the show. Cole Daddy, thanks for showing up. Ryan, my thug love to you, homie. And then we're over and out.
Sure. See you, Ryan. See you, Hunter.